Are you familiar with Lindy Lee, Brandon?
I'm familiar with her tweets.
Right. So she is a former Democratic fundraiser. I remember she was big on the Hillary campaign. And when I say big, I don't mean they viewed her as big. From everything I know, it seems like they did not view her as very integral to any campaign or the Democratic Party whatsoever. But for her, she was big into the Democratic Party. I remember her fundraising for the Hillary campaign because that's when she blocked me because of my support for Bernie Sanders at the time. And she was a fundraiser. She was big into fundraising for Joe Biden's campaign and then Kamala Harris's campaign. She was one of those like stalwart like Democratic faithfuls. Like no matter what happened, she defended it to the end. And then the election happened in 2024, and now she is on board the Trump train. She's full MAGA. And apparently she has a book coming out now. And she's ostensibly doing these interviews to support the book, because why else would they send apparently a draft of the book to the host interviewing her? But Lindy Lee went on the Tara Palmieri show on YouTube. And I'm not familiar with Tara Palmieri. I'm assuming she's like a Democratic leaning host, right? Do you guys know who she is?
She used to be a Politico reporter. I think she also worked at ABC News for a while, but yeah, I think suffice to say, her thing is being well sourced in like Dem.
So she's not. I thought she was like a partisan person. She's not even what you're saying. You're right.
That's sort of a meta question about the state of journalism, but yeah.
Right. So she's not even like a liberal host or something. She worked for Puck, Politico, Washington Examiner, and the New York Post. So again, this is not someone who.
I was saying to Sam earlier, I kind of feel like she's the 2025 Olivia Newsy, sans the scandals.
Okay.
So far. Thus far.
Right. So here is, we got two clips from this show because this goes off the rails. Let's play the first one. This is Lindy Lee, the former fundraiser for Democrats turned hardcore MAGA person on the Tara Palmieri show.
It's fair. People can totally change, but the question is, you worked for a campaign.
I didn't have a choice because I was a Democratic.
Nobody has to work.
You're not getting it. Politics is my entire life. What do I do without politics?
So you don't believe what you're doing?
Are you like, should I become a teacher or something? Are you asking me to change my profession?
I actually think that if you're going to stand up and speak for other people as a surrogate, if you're going to work for a campaign, and now you're going to come out with a book, like you should believe in what you're saying. Like if you didn't believe in it then, how are we supposed to believe you now?
This is my truth. Take it or leave it. I don't need you, Tara Palmieri. I don't need you to believe me. This is just my truth, and I have the receipts.
She's still using like the woke terminology of the Democrats because
no, everyone's woke now. Everyone's woke.
Such a recent MAGA. She can't help herself but use the terminology she's already, brought herself up to learn. This is amazing. First of all, there's plenty of jobs you could get in politics that don't require you to work on a political campaign you don't even agree with, apparently. This is amazing stuff.
Morally bankrupt. I would like to say that I'm surprised by the kinds of people that get into politics for the Democrats, right? But I think you probably see the same kinds of personalities on both sides, just shameless ladder climbers, right? Like, I think the move over from Biden to Trump is like, let's be honest, like it's retirement plan. It's like, okay, grifting Democrats is a little harder. Like Democrats are a little smarter, especially like in the more elite lib spaces. But I think people see the MAGA base as just like a bag of money with legs. They just go like, it's hard not to just want to dive in like Scrooge McDuck.
Right. But she's a fundraiser, right? So you would think she would have the ability to raise funds. She's really good at her job. And apparently she's telling us that she can raise money from people for a political campaign she doesn't even believe in. Then why would she even have to change her own political opinions to make money? Shouldn't she be able to do the same thing for herself?
My favorite part of this story is like her book and the press tour she's on now is like, criticizing all these Biden people for not speaking up and not doing something to get him to drop out of the race earlier. But obviously, like, the elephant in the room is like, what about you? Like, why weren't you, writing your book a year ago when there could have been a Democratic primary? And she's like, well, politics is my life. It's like no self-awareness that everyone she's talking about could basically make the same argument.
Right. So let's actually speak. You brought up her book, and the book that, again, it seems like if you send your book, even if it's still a draft, if you send it to the person who is going to interview you, you expect them to ask questions about the book, right? I mean, why else would would you provide them with a copy of the book or a draft or whatever she claims it is? But apparently that was a big no-no. Let's play this clip, which actually is more insane than the last one.
In a group setting, no.
Because you also wrote that he, quote, gave me free reign of the White House. Like, what does that mean, having free reign of the White House?
You could go to places that were usually cordoned off.
Like where?
When you go there on a tour, it's usually roped off.
Yeah.
Or, at Christmas parties, it's like, areas are you just not allowed there. But
like what parts?
I wasn't in the residence. I don't know the specific the names of the parts. I don't know what you're trying to get at.
No, I'm just curious, because I saw in the book you also wrote that that you could.
Right. I asked your producer not to share.
I know, but like, why are you being sensitive about a book that you're putting out?
Because it's in draft form right now. It's not even done. So you're sharing a form that's like really rough. And I specifically, he promised me that you wouldn't be sharing this rough draft it's not ready to be published, and you're sharing a draft that's not done.
But if it's like a fact, it's a fact. Like, if you wrote it, you were probably going to publish it, right? Like, that's.
No, not necessarily. I didn't.
Why wouldn't you share that? Like, why would you write that and not publish it?
Because I'm working with somebody else on writing that book, and I know what you're referring to, and I didn't write that line.
Wow.
It was on a PDF that looked very like pitch book style. Like, it's gonna, if you're coming out with a lot of really big claims,
Tara,
which I don't doubt.
I'm working with a ghostwriter. That was his first draft. I did not write that line.
This makes it look even worse.
No, he didn't make that up. Tara, that is just not a version. And again,
oh God.
Your producer said he wouldn't share it. It's in draft form. It's not, my book isn't out yet. It's not even available for pre-orders. Okay, it's not ready for public consumption. We are still writing the book.
It's interesting to me because I don't usually write things down. Like,
I didn't write it.
Share things that be pitched or written or sent around.
It's not. It's in draft form. It's not even. We're writing the book.
Yeah.
Why are you?
Okay.
Why are you providing someone with material for an interview that you don't want them to talk to you about? And then, second of all, blaming it on a ghostwriter is that's quite ballsy to do that. No one who reads your book will ever believe anything in it. They won't know if you wrote it or if your ghostwriter just made it up out of thin air. But the whole thing here is really showing just how much of this person who is getting a big platform now. She just started a new show with Paul Bet Davidson of on Valuetainment.
Have some goddamn
Patrick
respect.
Bet David. Yeah, I'm sorry. I forget his name. Patrick Bet David. I was completely off. But Valuetainment, and this is someone who's making a career out of being this person now. And clearly she is making up a lot of this shit. And to give you another example, after this interview came out, and again, these aren't people we necessarily see eye to eye with, but these people I'm about to show you, they have receipts when it comes to Lindy Lee. I dropped it in the chat here, this tweet. Here is Jamie Harrison, the former head of the DNC, bringing up an email that he received from Lindy Lee where he says this is all he ever received from her in terms of like her claiming she would reach out to the Democratic Party with her issues with the campaign. If you could pull that up on the screen.
Yeah, sorry, I got to get it on a different computer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no problem. It's on the ping chat.
That was so bizarre. I've never seen someone turn what could have been a very softball but engaging interview into a very adversarial one just by being unable to answer like even the most basic question. Besides maybe Trump himself. She's very Trumpian in that way. But yes, that was so bizarre. Like, why even do this interview? And Tara Palmieri did not seem to be like trying to antagonize Lindy at all. It was just like, oh, like I read this part, so I'm curious as to the amount of access that you say you had. Like, what does that actually translate to? So, are you seeing the Oval Office? Are you seeing like the place that they take them under the White House if there's like a case of a threat? Are you seeing like the Goon Cave? Like what are you seeing that other people are not seeing? Which seems like a pretty legitimate question. And she's just like, well, I mean, I don't know the names of the rooms, but I feel like in the White House, you're probably going to know the names of the rooms. Like each room has like what.
I mean, especially if you're referencing you were allowed to go to places most people are not allowed to go, you would at least know the name of at least one of those forbidden rooms.
Well,
yeah.
Palmieri sort of talks over her, but I'll just like I went and read what she was saying there, and the portion of the book that she's avoiding mentioning is she says that they let her take phone calls from the is it the Lincoln bedroom, or I think it's one of those presidential bedrooms, and she names it in the draft of the book. So I think that's what Palmieri was getting at when she's like, what places specifically?
Yeah, but she's claiming that's not true. She's claiming that's not true though. She's claiming she was not allowed to take phone calls in the Lincoln bedroom.
Right, but like in the book, she said that she was, right? So that's why Palmieri sort of letting her hang herself.
And there's not, like, just to demystify this slightly, I mean, I think people probably get it, but we interview authors all the time, basically all of us here. And often when you do that, I had Quinn Slobodian's new book a month before it was out, a month or so before it was out, in, what do they call it, pre-pub form. And yeah, there's some slight changes, but there isn't like completely made up shit that you're not supposed to talk about.
Well, I mean, like, that's just, for me, I could imagine a draft that's full of lies having different severities of lies in them. Now, I'm not trying to allege anything, but yes, like, you could be trying to see what you can get away with, what specific claims that enhance your believability as having some kind of authority about behind the scenes, like, information that I guess you want to pretend like your book is some kind of like groundbreaking expose on what was going on behind the scenes. So you're going to have claims that go like, oh, I was there. I was in the thick of it. And so, I could believe a draft version would include something that is not quite true that ultimately gets walked back because it's like, well, people are going to ask this question as they did, and you won't have a good answer for it.
Right. Do we have that link to those the emails? All right. So, speaking of what she was, her insider contacts, this is her email to Jamie Harrison, the former head of the DNC, in terms of her. She claimed that she expressed concerns to the Democrats about the campaign in 2024. But the email that he says he received from her reads as follows: Lindy Lee to DNC. Sunday, October 27th. So we're talking days before the election. Hi, thanks so much for inviting me. Is it possible to join the photo line /clutch with the vice president for this rally? I appreciate you and your hard work from the bottom of my heart. With deepest gratitude, Lindy. And then in the replies to that, even the influencers of the Democratic Party, who, again, not people we agree with, are putting her on blast with receipts about her expressing concerns. Olivia Giuliana posted a screenshot of a DM she received from Lindy Lee that says, "Hi, love. Can your connects at Twitter get me verified? I'm so bummed that I haven't been after all this time. I'm verified on Facebook. Thanks so much." I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this to me paints a very like vivid picture of the kind of person that she is, like hungry for clout, hungry for the connections that move you up in the world. And I mean, as a fundraiser for the Democratic Party, that like makes sense. And then it also makes sense why there might be things in the book that you perhaps shouldn't believe, because she's trying to like big herself up for an audience, you know, to overstate her importance within the campaign.
That's what's amazing to this is it's purely, I mean, we'll play this again here, is what she talks about, like, what do you want me to do? This is my whole life. You want me to like become a teacher or something? It's like, there is nothing in here but a meal ticket. Like, there's no principles, there's nothing. And that's like politics in 2025. It's a giant business where people with absolutely no principles will simulate them for you. And then the second that their bet fails, they start playing the other side of it. Let's just play this middle part again.
Nice, because I was a
Nobody
Democratic.
has to work that.
You're not getting it. Politics is my entire life. What do I do without politics?
So you don't
my
believe
entire
what
world.
you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't say politics is your entire well, you can, obviously, she said it, but I am immediately suspect if anyone says politics is my entire life and they mean just general politics.
Getting in the clutch for the VP.
Right. They apparently have no ideology that drives them. It's all just a business or a game or a hobby or entertainment for them. It's just politics. Yeah, I think that's someone who you should immediately be suspect about. You can't trust them. You can't trust them because they'll go whichever way is beneficial to their career.
Wow, you want to censor Lindy Lee and not hear the sort of real conversation she can have? I disagree with her. I like free speech.
Right.
I love
yes.
free speech.
I mean, she should certainly be able to have these conversations. In fact, I implore her to do many more of these interviews. I look forward to watching them all. This is good stuff.
When you start complaining about your producer who's off camera, the interview's not going well.
Right. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was just saying I would prepare more maybe next time. I would maybe like have an answer to obvious questions from things that happened in my book or things that I say happened in my book. But, you know, I'm fussy like that.
Be ready to speak to the book that you're promoting.
I will say, though, I always find people, you know, I find people like who get into politics for this reason, because she just seems to be in politics for like the fame of it, right? You're going on book tours, you're trying to put yourself out there as like a thought leader. It's like, you know, that's like the saddest reason to get into politics, like power, money, you know, I don't know, to help people, maybe all viable, like, you know, fame and attention, like that really doesn't work so much for people, except for, you know, Barack Obama. But like, let's be honest, that's like Obama.
Right. Now that Lindy Lee's, giving her advice, now that Lindy Lee's a right-wing commentator, she should take some influence from Laura Loomer and maybe throw a giant alligator head in her background over there. That would be very helpful.
My God. I'm already so excited. I'm already so excited for the new like PBD Lindy Lee like podcast. If you throw Laura Loomer in that and you make it a trifecta, like I don't know. I'm going to become a subscriber to the PBD YouTube channel for sure. Like I
still can't believe I called him. What did I call him? Paul
Peanut Butter Davidson.
I don't know that guy's name. All I know is that his company is called Valuetainment, which is the most like rip off like late 80s, early 90s directed DVD movie company you can possibly think of, or direct to video, I should say, movie company you could possibly think of. Like Valuetainment presents, and then it's like some off-brand Star Wars, like Galaxy Battles.
Well, in his case, it's like an off-brand Hunger Games, because he has that like book he wrote that's called The Academy. That's sort of semi-autobiographical, but also about, you know, well, the Hunger Games or The Giver or something. I've never read it. I've only watched a video about it, but I always see it in the background of his videos. And I'm like, from a distance, it really does just look like the Hunger Games.
Right. Right. Oh boy. All right, let's go to some IMs here. No, people are really ragging on me for this Davidson thing. Iona Cheney says Peter B. Davidson. Sus Cedar says, Paul Bet Davidson, I could easily see that being an R.M. Brown sound drop. It rolls off the tongue nicely. No, please don't give him any ideas. Dave from Jamaica, Paul Bet Davidson, LOL. All right, I get it. Mikey Love says, R.M. Brown said something about valuetainment sounding like the discount movie theater you go to see Shrek 2. Right, the one who's got like the $5 afternoon movies or something like that, right?
Oh, those are
You
great.
get bed bugs.
Oh yeah, no, that's not so great. No, they wouldn't play like actual movies though. They would play like the Asylum version of popular movies. So you wouldn't get like Transformers. You'd get like Transmorphers. You'd get things like that to keep costs down. That's what valuetainment's about. It's just about the experience, not about the film itself, obviously.
Right. Let's see. My Brain Hurts says, regarding this book, I want to know which AI is the ghost author. She actually named the guy, so he exists. Like I remember, I recall I looked him up if I'm thinking about the right guy, and he exists. So she is working with a ghostwriter. But again, how do you go on air and say that? No one will trust your book. Like, it's not a surprise that people work with ghostwriters. I mean, personally, I wouldn't do that if I was putting out something, but I know people do that. But you don't blame your ghostwriter then. You got to take responsibility for what's in there, especially if it's just outright false.
He's got to be getting paid pretty well, because Paul Mary tweeted out, like, after the interview, she said, a few hours after my podcast was published, her ghostwriter, Matt Muat, called me to say that he added the Lincoln bedroom detail because he had heard that big donors had access to the room. So secure that bag, Matt Muat. It's tough being a writer.
This is even better now, because now we know that Lindy Lee wasn't even a big donor. She was some small, minute Democratic Party apparatchik. If the big donors get access to the phone calls in the Lincoln bedroom, and Lindy Lee is claiming that part in her book was written by a ghostwriter and is false, then Lindy Lee, we now know, is talking up a version of how important she was in the Democratic Party that simply does not exist. It's not true.
Well, I think also what might be going on there is in her mind, alarm bells are going off, because I think everyone my age and maybe older might remember the Lincoln bedroom scandal involving the Clinton administration, where they were basically taking money. Well, the implication was that they were taking money from donors and letting them stay the night in the Lincoln bedroom. This big political scandal back when I was 12 years old or something. So I think maybe like saying, oh, they're letting people raise money by being in the Lincoln bedroom. Like maybe a bunch of lawyers were like, me no, abort this line.
Shocking that they would just sort of rehash some old scandal and not have the sort of creative ability to make up a new one.
Right. I mean, again, this every new turn makes her look even worse and less important. It's amazing.
And more fat. I mean, she's a George Santos style, right.
Well,
so I think maybe Santos may be more criminal. I don't know, but
right. I mean, I remember a decade ago when, her name was popping up all over the place defending Hillary online during that campaign. I remember always noticing she would step in and speak for the party or people in the party to defend them, but no one ever referred to her. No one ever quoted her, referred to her, reached out to her. So it always seemed suspect to me that she was what she claimed she was. She seemed like someone who wanted to be an insider, who was just like faking it until she hoped to make it online. And it doesn't seem like she fully really made it ever.
Or she just decided, I want to pivot. And after, she thought Kamala was going to win. Kamala lost. And she's like, oh, what do I do now? I guess I just completely jettison everything and become an asset for the other team.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.